Gina.
Well,
Wow.
I was sort of saying welcome to Reverend Sophie and hello, Father Neil.
Oh, it's like that, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like that. Okay.
Because I am the favourite vicar.
Oh.
It's,
That's what I'm taking from that.
Yeah,
anyway.
I do as well. I concur completely. So,
It's confessions.
it's confession. You come dressed today as well, Sophie.
I did come dressed today. Yeah, it's quite helpful.
Yeah,
really.
do you
I've
feel a bit better
the-
today?
Feel slightly less naked today than I did last time. It's like that was a bit weird.
guys, if you didn't listen in last week,
I didn't actually come to the studio naked.
No.
No.
No. She just forgot her clerical collar.
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't want her to get in trouble with the ecclesiastical authorities.
No,
No,
it would be
cool.
a bit
Yeah, we'll
troublesome.
say that
Yeah,
now.
that's a
black
different
and white.
confession.
Yeah, that's a whole different confession. Do you know, I met some rather wonderful people yesterday, including Pure West Radio's Ali, at a speed networking thing, PAVS thing.
Yeah, in Crandale?
In Crandale. It was great. I went along there, met lots of lovely people.
It was social prescribing day yesterday.
It was social prescribing day yesterday.
I was actually leading a choir for people affected by Parkinson's, which I think
wow.
fits that mould
Yes.
perfectly well. So,
Yeah.
it was great.
Ah, I love that. Love that. It was a good day.
Did you have a good day on Sunday?
I did have a good day on Sunday. Yes, we
It
did.
was the anniversary of her nativity, guys. The
It
big
was.
5-0.
Not.
I am 43, I'll have you know.
You don't look a day over 49.
Thanks.
So you had a lovely weekend.
I had a lovely weekend.
Good.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you very much.
Father Neil, how have you been?
I'm discombobulated
Oh.
by you, to be honest.
By me?
Yes.
What have I done?
Well, it's the 20th of March,
Yes.
and you're reading out pollen scores. It's
I
the
know.
20th of March.
It took me by surprise. Usually they hold off until the clocks change.
Yes.
But no, they've come early.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the weather. I'm loving this. It's a real spring feel, and
It is lovely and warm.
it's providing a lift in my step. But as somebody who does suffer from hay fever, I'm thinking really,
Not now.
But
really.
it's only for a day or two because it's going to go back downhill, isn't it, over the weekend?
Yeah, it's going to be wet
Yeah.
over the weekend, so
Yeah.
it'll probably be dampened and stuck on the floor.
Yeah.
Danny Thomas Turner's been in touch. Last week they had their sale for glaucoma, and so I went down and got myself a cake, white chocolate and raspberry blondie, and I was like, Danny, you need to listen back to Confessions, and she has, and she was like, you were right. I was shocked by the confessions. I wonder if we have got, well, there was 2 confessions last week.
It was. It was a very long segment last week. It lasted nearly a half an hour of talking with no music, for which I apologise.
I tell you what, though, we may or may not get that long again. Do we have another confession for today?
We do, and it's very short.
Dun, dun,
Right,
dun.
it's time to dance.
These are my confessions. These are my confessions. These are my confessions.
Father Neil, the floor is yours.
Okay, so to preface this confession, I have to confess myself that I was somewhat of an agent provocateur when it came to this confession. So I play a key role
Why am I not surprised?
in the commitment of this confession. Monday is my day off, and this Monday I went out and I met a friend who lives in Pembrokeshire, and we drove out of Haverfordwest and went into the countryside, and we went for a lovely pub lunch, and the weather's been gorgeous, and we didn't sit outside, but it was really, really nice. It was quite quiet in the hostelry that we were in. And there was only 2 or 3 tables with people eating food. And the waitress was absolutely lovely. She could not have been more attentive. And she checked in on us, and I've got dietary needs, and she was going backwards and forwards and checking in the kitchen for me and this sort of stuff. And we had a really nice time. And it wasn't just us. She was also attentive to the rest of the room as well. And she was completely by herself. So at the end, I thought to myself, right, okay, she's given us really good service. Therefore, I'm going to reward that service, and I'm going to leave a gratuity. I'm going to leave a tip. And she's I made sure to say, oh, there's a little something on the table for you just there. And she said, if you look on your bill, it actually says that service is included. And I went, oh, okay, but I want to leave this tip for you because you've gone over and above. And she just said something, and this isn't a particular funny confession, but she said, well, that's really, really nice. And up until about a year ago, I just would have protested and pushed it all away. But the economic climate that we're in, and the service industry that we're in, she didn't use these words, but I will take it, and thank you very much. And I said, this is for you. This is that there's the gratuity goes to the service included goes to the whole, but this is for you. And I was walking out. I was talking with my colleague, and he was saying, you did make her break the rules there, because service is included, and she did say, but kind of you insisted, and this sort of thing. So does she need to confess?
Ooh.
That she has broken the rules in that way? Do I need to confess that I am being an Asian provocateur? Now, I'm very conscious of the fact that last week's confession was full cringeworthy and absolutely full of... and this compared with it, it may seem to be a minor thing, but I present it to the council of the G&T Breakfast Show and Alive and Kicking, and all of you out there as well.
I love that. So, in summary, you've gone out, you've had a lovely time, you've been well looked after by the waitress, and as a result, you've been like, this person deserves a tip, a gratuity, and she's come back and said, oh no, our policy is that it's already included, even though there's only two of you, and therefore I can't take it, but actually, do you mind if I do?
Yep.
And is that okay?
Well, I kind of insisted a little bit as well.
You're like, no, please take it because you've been brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay. Does Father Neil need to confess the making someone break the rules of the establishment? And does the waitress need to confess that I took money and actually it should have gone into the house pot?
Well,
okay, Gina.
I'm surprised you don't know more about this, Tom, because rules have changed in regard to tax. And now that if you have a tip, whereas maybe back in the day, many years ago, or maybe not so many years ago, you'd be able to put that tip in your pocket, or you would put that tip into the tip jar and it would get distributed towards the whole of the staff. Now that tip is taxable, I believe.
Have I just induced somebody to commit tax fraud? Is this how this? Because I did not know that. Suddenly, this has taken a slightly more serious edge. To be honest with you, thanks, Gina, for any members of Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs. I know that ignorance of the law is no excuse in the commission of a crime.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I would say on that point that you didn't give her a tip. You gave her a birthday gift.
Yes, there we go. That was it.
It wasn't a tip because you'd already cleared up the fact that you couldn't give her a tip because it was in the policy for it to go into.
Yes.
So you were giving her a very early birthday present.
Who are you, Jimmy Carr's accountant?
Or you were giving her money to get a cup of coffee.
Yeah. It was hospitality on your part. Just stick it in your tax.
But what about the principle? Should I have just, when it comes to, And Tom has just raised the point that I didn't even think of, which of course the food was lovely, and the waitress had gone backwards and forwards to the kitchen and consulted with the person who was chefing there. And they had said, no, that's fine, but you can't have that, or we could do a version of that, and this sort of stuff. But because she was front-facing, because she was front of house, and it was sort of like, no, you've got to put it in your pocket, maybe it should have gone. I mean, there wasn't a tip jar because gratuity was included and this sort of stuff. And I think largely businesses that go to gratuity included have done it because we've moved to a cashless society, so people don't necessarily.
And the tax thing.
Yeah, and the tax thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, Gina.
Well, you're so
Gina ratting us out to His Majesty's Revenue and Customs.
well.
So-
She might file her tax returns. You don't know
Yes.
that.
No, that's
just
true.
because there's an obligation to do it doesn't mean that she's not doing it.
I
And-
was going to say, I mean, you are not really in the wrong in terms of the tax
Correct.
thing. So
Right.
that's her.
Yeah, Gina.
I just hope
Throwing
you
me
weren't
under the
being-
bus.
Hold on. I just hope you weren't being followed on the day. I hope that you didn't check in with that place on your phone. I hope that you haven't put any posts on
I-
Facebook. We were here because then you could be getting someone into trouble.
I
So just
think
hope
that
you
you
shut
are
up about it.
overestimating the global reach of Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs. I don't think that they are monitoring the social media channels of an obscure Welsh cleric.
Who happens to tip the nice waitress?
Yeah.
Just trying to do a nice thing. Let's have a look. Danny Thomas Turner's in, so I'm just going to quickly put that onto the screen. However, some things. So by law, if someone tips, the organisation has to distribute it. There's nothing that says that you can tip individuals. Of course, organisations, as you've just pointed out, look at the whole team that makes that establishment work, which is why often tips are shared. In American culture, they're not. They're very much given to you, sir, how are you today? In this country, it's a cultural, social dilemma every single time you go out.
Well, there used to be a time where we didn't tip at all. Like, this has only been a bit of a phenomenon in the UK in the last 30 years. I don't know.
Since the turn of the millennium. Yeah.
So it was never a thing. Tipping was never a thing anyway. It was always a European thing.
Yes, it was, yes.
Yeah.
And then even in this country, if it was a service charge, it was for tables of at least 6 people. So
Yeah.
the fact that 2 of you is already on there, I've got my own reservations about that. Danny Thomas Turner would love to have Sophie as her accountant. And
So creative, yes.
and agrees that it was definitely a gift. I agree with Sophie. Most workplaces tell you all the tips must be shared in a jar back of house. So if it was a gift, it was personal, so not to be shared. However, you were delighted by the individual service that you received. So the organisation does need to share the tip. The individual who received that money, we can tip whoever we want. You could come into this room and I could be like, there you go, thank you very much, good sir. Watch out for anti-bribery laws. Just to point, if we're going to go down that rabbit hole too.
Yeah.
And then what you do with your source of income, however it's derived, is what you then report. Of course, I think it's like £1,000. If you receive petty cash of £1,000 a year, you don't need to report it.
You don't need to report it, no.
Then, but if she is getting over £1,000 a year in tips, good on you.
I think
Just be
it's
sure to report
2,000
it. Is it
actually.
2,000? I need to double check that.
Yeah.
I'm starting to have to confess that I have provoked the world's most boring confession.
No, I'm
we've
in it.
moved-
I'm in it.
We've moved into tax allowances. What's going on? What's going on? Last week, Tom was curled in a fetal position behind the microphone because he was so cringing over the revelation of the cake.
I couldn't believe it.
This time, he and Reverend Sophie are sort of like, oh, I think you'll find it's £2,000.
The law degree's
for the-"
coming in handy. Whoa, flex those muscles. Anna King is just saying, Big Brother's watching you. My question is to throw it back out to other people in the service industry. What do you do? That's what I want to know. And for those that find themselves in a nice little cash society, getting that tip in, are they au fait with what they should and should not be doing? And do they maybe need to give themselves a bit of maybe I should register my tax return?
So how much do you tip, if you do?
I like to go for the standard 10%.
Oh, I can't work that out.
I don't
No.
tip.
You don't tip.
No, I'm mean and stuff. No,
tight.
I give lots of gifts, but I don't tip.
Oh, yes. Yeah, birthday gift. Oh, it's your birthday. Oh, I forgot. Yes. Reverend Sophie knows when everybody's birthday is. Yes.
Amazing, as he slips a card.
Yeah.
Gina.
Yeah, if we have good service. But I would say on that thing, a lot of places do now include the service.
Yes.
Yes.
As
because of this
the
system.
establishment that I went to. Yeah.
Yeah. But you knew that you'd been a nuisance that day with putting this poor person through their paces of back and forth, and you wanted to give them that birthday.
Yeah,
Can I just say something?
The menu didn't exactly. You know, you get some menus now which are scrupulous because it's like alphabety spaghetti.
Yeah.
After each menu item, it says, "This has got crustaceans. This is dairy free. This is vegan. This had none of that." So, as somebody with a dietary requirement, because I'm dairy free, I had to keep sending this poor girl
Back to the kitchen.
backwards and forwards to the kitchen to ask about various things and various sauces and.
Oh,
this
you're
sort
getting
of
them
thing.
into
I
even
should
more
just
trouble
like
now
to
because
say-
apparently they're supposed to have it on the menu.
Oh, are they? Oh, Gina, you're just a rat. You just. So, Gina, everybody, just to let you know that Gina works not only as an enforcer for Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs,
The health agency.
but
as well.
also, yes, health and safety.
Safety.
And she's a rat for the local council. She's the one that goes undercover and eats, and then they reduce the rating from 5 in the window down to 2.
We haven't mentioned the name of this
No, we
establishment.
haven't.
have we?
No.
Excellent.
No, we're fine.
Good.
You were going to say something.
I was going to say something. What I want to know is why have you not tipped me? Because you.
You tip for good service. I've been to your services, and I tell you what.
No, I was just thinking I've had to put up with your nonsense for the last I don't know how many years.
You mean you had the-
I'm going backwards and forwards all the time. I think you should be tipping me.
You've had the privilege of me mentoring you as your LMA dean.
Excellent. Well, I've got a decision on this one.
Okay.
Though.
Oh, go on then, Tom.
For both of you, I forgive because she was provided great service. You were feeling gracious. You were very grateful for that, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to give you some extra shekels to go with the gratuity. I think that's a lovely, caring way and simple way of showing a little bit of love and gratitude for our fellow member of society. I'm throwing my forgiven out into the world.
Nice.
What she does with the money is up to her.
Yep, absolutely.
She'll be back next year when she has arrived the time.
Confession.
Yeah.
Yeah, forgiven.
Forgiven from Gina. So
Well, I forgive her definitely.
I can see where this is going.
But for all the times that you haven't tipped me, I don't forgive. No, it's
okay.
not on. It's not happening.
Father Neil, do you forgive yourself?
I forgive myself. I forgive her. So everybody's forgiven.
Yay.
And Reverend Sophie is an outlier, and she's just being. You know. Have you had your breakfast this morning?
No, not yet.
No,
no.
see?
Let us know what
don't
your
have a wheat
thoughts
bix.
are on this one. Anna King also in with a forgiven for us here. It's time to put our hands to the skies. Just for the camera. Thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome.
Let's have a look. Paul. Paul, you met Paul Gisborne Hilton
Yes,
yesterday.
I did.
He's just commented now saying, nice to meet with Sophie yesterday at the Speed Networking event. And he says, we should forgive.
There we
Yes.
go. Lovely.
Absolutely. See?
The society is healing. How is Alive and Kicking looking on Sunday morning?
It's looking very.
Alive and kicking even.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How's
So-
Lent going?
Oh, well.
Don't get me started.
Don't get me started on Lent. Lent's going well. I have I am fasting for Lent.
Okay.
So when I say fasting, I'm not eating anything. I've just significantly reduced my calorie intake for the purposes of Lent.
Okay.
And
Well, you heard calorie intake. You should have heard Cadbury intake.
calorie intake. I stand by what I said. So I'm currently not having breakfast.
Not a good
No
idea.
You're not
because
breaking the fast.
that's why I was not forgiven this morning. That's why I asked her about breakfast, because Mrs. Grumpy Pants over here, the Reverend Sophie Grumpy Pants.
I'm
It's
gonna
hungry.
own it.
Love it.
Yeah, so lunchtime is the first time I'm eating in the day.
Wow.
And I'm
So
having,
do you have double then?
No, I'm having no. So I'm even got to the point, you know, that Huel thing.
Yes.
Other protein
Oh.
drinks are available. I have one of those
Oh wow.
at lunchtime, and then with an extra spoon of almond butter.
Okay,
Almond,
yeah.
so nuts basically, and then in the evening I have a light meal in the evening.
Oh
Gosh.
How long is this for? A few
6
weeks, isn't
weeks.
it? 6 weeks. Oh my goodness! Wow.
But
I-
see, Lent is not supposed to be like a diet plan. It's not supposed to be about losing weight.
No, it's not. What is it supposed to be about?
Forgiving.
So
It's
Yeah.
about when you give something up. It's about creating more space and more time to be with God. So if Reverend Sophie is giving up breakfast, that's because that gives her an extra 10 minutes in the morning to spend
That's the one.
with
Ah,
God.
okay.
So I just wanted to let people know that you may have heard Reverend Sophie and thought, oh well, that's just a diet. That's like a New Year's thing. No.
No.
There's
a reason behind.
Yeah, there is a balance to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, so that'll be one of the themes on Sunday, I assume.
Yes, we are going to be continuing our Lenten trek to the edges of the known universe.
We were on Perseverance last week.
We were on Perseverance
Last week.
Yes.
I need a lot of that, particularly when I'm working with Father Neil.
We look forward to that. That'll be 8 o'clock on Sunday morning.
It will indeed.
Any events coming up?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, stay tuned. We're going to be looking at them with the Pembroke Coast National Park. Thank you so much for joining us for Confessions once again. We'll see you on Gratitude Tuesday as well.
Yes.
Excellent. We'll be back with these wonderful events and the traffic update with Link Taxis. Let us know what the road's like where you are. 01437 764455. It's coming up to 8:30. Celebration soon too.
The Breakfast Show with G.